cago en la puta.
Nos tengo que cerrar la puerta principal.
Vale.
Pero como hoy no estamos allí, como entra alguien no nos enteramos.
Hombre, si vamos a entrar por allí.
Si no miras para allá, no.
Okay, let's do the shit. So, where's the shit? Okay.
Oye, estoy pensando en lo del RPG. Ah, bueno, tendríamos que buscar una plataforma o comprar el RPG Maker.
¿Es de pago?
Sí. ¿Te suena, Chris, que hay alguna versión gratuita de RPG Maker, alguna antigua?
Sí, la
Ah.
RPG Maker XP trae el número.
Venga, chavales, a callarse todos la puta boca ya. No hay problema. So, let's begin with the Django thing. I am Axel, amigo, my friendships.
Cano.
We have Kano. We have entered. And. Okay, so.
Muy buenas a todos.
Qué puntual, como siempre.
¿Qué tal, my friend?
Asuntos tranquilos.
Oh, te presento a David.
Bueno,
Encantado.
Ari.
placer.
Sorry, we're having some presentations.
Y a Chris creo que ya le conoces,
Sí,
¿no?
aquí es.
Con tu permiso.
¿Qué pasa?
Vicente.
No, espérate.
No, que me voy a.
Ah, vale, perfecto.
Voy a hacer una de.
Brofist.
¿A ti te he visto alguna vez? ¿Puede ser?
No creo, no me suena, pero.
A lo mejor un día que
Adiós.
hacemos...
¿De cañas igual?
Sí.
Puede ser. ¿Cómo va eso?
Pues vamos a hacer.
Bueno, ya
Estamos
ves,
en medio del curso,
ya
tío.
es tarde, Gabriel.
Lo sé, lo siento.
Sí, ya siento por algún lado. Tienes allí un puff y si no, aquí una silla.
Bueno, my friends, let's continue begin with the Python thing. So Django is a framework very similar to Laravel, and wow. So it's made written in Python. It's very cool. It has some differences comparing to the Laravel, okay, but it's pretty much the same. So. Good thing about Python is that it allows to create some virtual environments, like I guess like installing npm things in a folder, okay, but they allow this kind of behavior as well. So first off, I have this tutorial in I have made a readme, okay, so you can actually, you know, like have all these commands. You don't need to anything. So this command here installs what is called a pyenv installer, okay, Python env of environments, and install it into your system wide. So once you've done that, you can like install a some version of Python, okay. For example, the last one is 3.6.2, so you can, I guess, install something like this, okay, and then it takes some time, it compiles the thing, and well, whatever. And let's give it a whirl. In the meantime, I'm going to configure the screens because they are changed and I'm getting crazy with that. Pantalla. Y ya está. ¿Es tan fácil? No. Aplicar. A ver. ¡Woo! Okay. So, let's give it some time to install this, maybe a couple of minutes. So what we'll do today is a very simple installation of Django, which is a package of Python. Python has a package manager called pip. It's very similar to npm, so it's pip install and then the package you'd like to install.
Composer.
Well, yeah, like Composer, I mean, but just works better. So Django has a great documentation, which, to be honest, I've worked first with Django and then with Laravel, so I really feel more comfortable working with this framework. Documentation of this one is really good. So it's on. I think it's part of it's in Spanish as well, but not sure. I would go with English. So it has a first steps tutorial from part 1 to part 7, and then advanced tutorial, which I've pasted my my course in. Okay, so later if you want to review, this will be the place you will want to look. I've changed the models, changed the things, give some tips, but I follow more or less this structure. So today we'll be creating in 1 hour one simple web application. In fact, I think that it will be useful for Scalefast. It's called Simple Inventory. We will be managing like inventory things from PC componentes, of course, and Amazon maybe. So I've created like 2 different models and 2 different, well, only 1 view today, but I probably tomorrow finish the rest. So this one is still installing. Okay, first. So once you've done that, you want to make this in order to the virtual environments to have all the versions of Python, because I also have 3.6.2 and so on. So once you have this, you should create like a folder like this where I store all my virtual environments. Okay, I can have as many different virtual environments as I like, and in here I will install all my third package dependencies. So I'll just going to illustrate an example. I can create a key, a folder called test, okay, and I can enable a new virtual environment here as follows. I have the pym, it's like that, .pym /version /3.6.0, which is the version I've just installed, /bin/python 3.6. Okay, this is actually the binary of Python, just like PHP. And this is a command in order to create a new virtual environment, like, and then I specify this test folder I created. All right. So I have now this folder, and if I, check the files inside, there's the library thing, which is like a symbolic link, but here it stores the libraries here. So this is very good for escalating. If I want to create multiple servers, I just include the dependencies in these virtual environments, and everything is here. So for activating the virtual environments, I need to type source, my virtual environment, bin, which is this folder here, and then activate. And as you can see, now I have this. Okay, which means that if I say, hey, which Python am I using? In fact, you're using the Python of this environment. So now I go and type Python, and it's 3.6.0. So it's very simple to change versions of Python. If there's like a security thing, you install them, create up new virtual environments, migrate your things, and so on. All right. So pip is the package manager of Python, like Composer. So freeze tells the packages you have. Currently, I have none. So first thing we want to do is install Django. So this is the LTS version of Django. I suggest always, if you go to the Django download page, check what LTS versions they have. So right now they have like 1.1 that will last until, well, like 100 years in the future. So I recommend always go with LTS because the other ones are quite short. So this is how you specify a version with 3 equals, and hopefully pip will like install all the dependency that Django relies, like this one. This is just a Python time zone thing, just on freeze. So if we pip freeze, we now have this. Very simple, very fast, way more than Composer for sure. So I'll go to my projects folder. Well, that's not my project folder. This is it. And I'll create like my test like live thing. So I'm in this folder, which is empty. And right now, since we're using virtual environments, we have installed Django. We have new options, like for example, Django admin. Okay, this is actually something we have. Okay, it's there, a new binary. So for starting a new project, okay, like well, a project has the same nomenclature as a Laravel, okay, like Pepita, I don't know, Pepita customer, like a project. So it's like that. So I'll create my Django tutorial project, and there we go. We have the Django tutorial. It creates a folder for us, and inside we have a basic manage py. This will be like artisan for Laravel, okay. And inside the project we have a same folder with the project name. This is like the main application. I will go into that in a second. So in this folder we basically have the main routes. Okay, this is like the routes of Laravel, where we specify, hey, this route is that controller, and we have the settings file. This is a file where we will be configuring database, middleware, installed applications, if we were in debug mode, secret key, like everything. This is very well documented. It comes with middleware, like very interesting, and modular ones. You can add your own, remove all of them if you like, although they're quite useful for, you know, logging in, this is out of the box, so it provides like CSRF protection, X-frame protection, and so on. It's specified the main URLs, and I think it's like that. Templates, well, this is a template engine, okay? And this, you define how to render templates. You can create your own template engine, like we basically did in Scalefast. I'm sorry. But you could define, if you like, the templates, if you like. Database, no black magic here. It allows, Django supports MySQL, supports SQLites, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and it's not very friendly of NoSQL databases. That's the bad part of Django, but anyway. And this is new, actually. Not sure what it's like in this new version, but I think it's for validators of passwords. For example, in Spain, we have this stupid law of protection of data that forces you to have like a different password from the previous time. Here, you can implement that kind of logic in the password things. And configuration of the code, time zone, if we want to use internationalization and localization for making the project in different languages and with different time zones. So this is the place. And static URLs for searching the static files. So far, nothing very complex, just 100 lines, and well, good practice. Don't commit this thing. You don't want to have this in a public repository, because this is the secret key you'll have for encrypt your sensitive data. So you can probably move this out of the repository. And a load host is just like the host that will be able to access Django. This is my URL, so I'll need to put this here for this to work. So we have created a basic Django project, which is empty. So I'm going to see my code here and probably reconfigure. Yeah.
Support MariaDB or Mongo?
Mongo, no. MariaDB, yes. Not very friendly with NoSQL databases, but from Maria, it doesn't care. Percona.
MariaDB is
MySQL. Yeah. So Django tutorial settings. Ya lo sé. Okay, nothing crazy right now. Alright, so I'll start by creating an application, okay, which is like the main heart of Django. And before I do that, let me tell you like the difference, because this is somehow difference between Laravel and these points. So projects and applications. This is Andres, for example. I think you don't like this very much. In all of previous work with Django, you were like, hey, what the fuck, why should I create this application? So the student project describes a Django web application, like for example websites that manages inventory, like has assets, orders, life cycle, a lot of different things. That's a project, okay? And a project has applications, and the term of application here is very Unix-alike. It's a thing that does one thing and does it really well, but only one thing. So I really like this approach of dividing your project into several applications, and at the end of the day, your application should be exportable into a Python module so other people can use your application. So it should be kind of independent, but you know, that's the theoretical part. It's not always like that. So I will create this Django admin thing. Actually has a lot of options here. So for example, shell creates a Python shell with all the models. Start project, we saw that, and now I'll do start application. So let's do the Django admin start app simple inventory. All right, and we have this folder here now. So let's go and see this one. So this file, ignore it, it's empty. It's just for Python to know that this folder here is a Python module, okay? That's the story behind this. it has models, okay, very straightforward. Here we will define like the models of our application. It has this thing here. I don't know what test is, so I cannot explain, sorry. Views, and here becomes the funny part. In Django, views are the controller. Like in Laravel we have controller, well, Django uses also a MVC design pattern, but views are the controllers. And it's very good. So for Django it's called model view template. So template will be like the HTML thing, view will be the controller we're used to, and model, well, model. So right now our project looks more or less than this. Yeah, I mean I'm not really comfortable with that, but you know. So it's very short, doesn't have a lot of things, and this could give us like a real thing right now. So I'll start by creating the models. So first off, I'll start by defining my Django inventory models. Sorry, simple inventory models. All right. So we'll start with Python. It's a very easy language, so don't be afraid of that. So model reference Django. This is the website's. This is also on the README file I've created. Okay, so model field reference is the place you want to be looking when you are creating a model. Okay, you have a lot of options here, like database related, like unique for dates, validators, defaults, if it's an index or not, different choices, if it's blank or null. Okay, and here we have like the real thing, the field types. Here we have a lot of different fields for every kind of situation. Slack field for creating slacks automatically. Unique universal identifier, I think it's this. URL, time, date time, integer, small integer, decimal, like comma separated integer field. Come on, what's that? I mean, binary fields, a lot of different fields. Wow, this is new, autofill, didn't know that. Oh, and I love this. For only time, duration field. It's very interesting. And files as well. Django manages the files for you. It doesn't store into the database, of course, but stores the location. So very interesting. And IP, image, and there is this very good one, but I'm not seeing it. And we have the relationships. Okay, I'll be going a little bit into this today. We have the classic foreign key, and no, I know. I'm sorry, but I need to teach you some relationships today. One-to-one field, okay, it's just for defining one-to-one relationships, like one user has only one profile, for example. Foreign key, you know that, and many-to-many, like, for example, between, I don't know, many and many things, yeah? Couldn't be better explanation. So this could be a very good example, okay, but I won't be doing that. I will be showing you myself. So instead of coding that for you, I'll paste it right now. And I'll cover that. So give me a second. I'll go to here. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay. Well.
All right. Copying this. That's a thing I'll give to you. When you want to paste something on Beam, type set paste, and then you paste.
So magic. Control V in Sublime.
Yeah. No comments. So I've a little bit explanation of this. This is like out of the box thing. Like I'm importing like the models of Django. I'm importing the settings of the project. And I'm, importing this for translating strings, okay? But of course, this is only if you want to make your project internationalizable. This thing here is for getting the model of your user, because Django allows you to define your user model. It's a special model, of course, because all web applications have user, okay? So Django even allows you to change that, but we are getting from settings this from default, and if this is not present, we get this. All right, this is good practice. So I've defined a class, very simple class called asset, and let me tell you, the good thing about Django for me is that this here will provide SQL code. Okay, this will go directly into the database. So, but will also be used for using your model. Okay, like you can do asset.inUse and that will work. It's different because in Laravel you specify a model and then you specify a migration. In Django, everything is here. You specify the model, you change it as you like, and then migrations are generated automatically from here, which theoretically is good, okay, but sometimes it gets messy. But well, I prefer this better because I don't need to open two files. I open this and I see the model in both my application and database. So these here are not fields of the database. This is pure Python code. Like I'm just defining some constants here, like different states. 0, well, asset, you know what an asset is. So this will represent chairs, this will represent computers, microprocessors, mouses, doors, everything. We have different states, store and use, remove, they are like a number, and pending delivery is almost over 9,000, but you know, it's all like that. And here in Django, this will be used later, but we're just defining this previous thing we have defined here, and a human readable thing with this. Okay, this is for translating, remember. Later we will be able to define this in Spanish, Portuguese, French, whatever like. So let's start with the real model. Here we have a char field, which is like a bar chart that requires some things like maximum length, and you can specify like if it's unique or not. Okay, in this case, yes, I want it to be unique. In use, well, Boolean field, no magic here, and by default it's false. Be careful because Boolean fields is one of those fields that cannot, well, should not be null, okay? Because if you have a Boolean field null, you can have a problem. That's why these guys here creating like the, I think, Boolean, yeah, null Boolean field, okay? So search this very well before creating anything. They are really database friendly, and if you would like to do this in any case, use null Boolean field. So default false. Buffer of the asset, for example here, Andres told Alvaro to have always a buffer of things like for computers, for everything, have at least 3 replacement in a buffer here in our warehouse. So this is a positive small integer field because I really don't think we'll have thousands of buffers, so this is better. On default 0. Then this is the interesting part, use by. So for example, this projector we're using here is used by all the company. So we can define a many-to-many relation between our asset model and our user model, okay? Because remember this, I defined this like here, okay? So this is like the good way of linking one custom model like asset with the user model. And here I'm defining a many-to-many relation with user, but it's not necessary because maybe we have a thing that is not being used by anyone. So could define no relation at all. And related name is very interesting, is for backwards relation. For example, let's suppose this projector is being used by all the company. So I have all the single users in my Django application, like I have all of you guys. And if I instantiate a user in my Django, I can type, for example, Chris dot using assets, and it will provide me all the inverse relation of this. So it will provide all the assets that Chris is using. So very, very sexy, very, very useful. And I really love this one. Okay, components. This is we're starting with mindfuck here. It's defining a many-to-many field with itself. Self is like this in PHP. In fact, you will see. I'm not sure if I've not defined a function, but well. And again, it's null because could be like I don't know, like a whole thing, like a TV. A TV is a whole thing, so it's not a component. But this is useful for example, a computer that we purchase, microprocessor, motherboard, case. We combine different things, so we can even specify the components that is making the computer itself. Okay, and symmetrical you know that this field is here and not here, because this field is mandatory for many-to-many relationship with itself. For example, if we were defining a person model, like a person with a name, a sex, male, female, a lot of sex, you know, different options, we could define a property called friend, like I am your friend, and theoretically, if I am your friend, you're my friend. So in that case, symmetrical would be true. Okay, that's a very good example. So only by defining one-way relationship, you are defining the both ways. But in this case, no. In this case, we're defining that this i7 processor is a component of this computer, but it's not the other way around. So symmetrical is false. All right. And states, it's a positive small integer field. And look, I have defining the choices. Okay. From here, from state choices. So in database, this will be the different options like 0, 1, 2, and 9000. And in fact, I think I'm missing one. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. There you go. Okay, yeah, there are all of them. And that's it. So you might be wondering, hey, what the hell is a class inside of a class? Yes, you can do that in Python. Not sure why, but in Django, it's useful for defining like meta properties of a class. One example being the database indexes. I'm just doing like very simple thing here, like I just want to index by identifier, state, in use. I could create very simple, like I could create double indexes like this in a very simple way. Okay, so no surprise here. This is an array. You know, the brackets array as well. So meta allows you to define like the name of the class and so on, and different options. But I will keep it like that. Okay, I will go and get my jacket because it's fucking freezing.
Give me one.
Esta es la tuya, ¿no?
Sí, supongo. Me da lo que quiera.
Siento más noticia de Fred que él paga la comida de hoy y mañana.
¡Sí! Fred Galáctico.
Yes, sweet.
Okay, we have 30 minutes left. Let's do it quick. So I'll be saving this model by now. Okay, just a simple model. Not sure if Matt has any question. I think he.
Yeah, but you don't have to instantiate the new class.
Sorry, Taos, go again.
You don't have to instantiate
¿Es
the
mejor ahora?
class like magic or what?
Instantiate.
Constructor.
In Django, you don't need to define.
Okay.
Okay, because you're, well, just a little Python thing. You define the class here, okay, and this is the superclass.
That's it.
So the superclass.
I didn't see the relationship one to many. How do you compute it?
I didn't define it because here I don't really have an option, but it's
No, but I mean in Django. Because I only see one to one and many to many. But one to many, how do you...
foreign key.
Okay.
We have foreign key, many to many, one to one. So we have all the cases.
So the constructor is in the superclass.
The constructor is in the superclass, yes. You can define your own and then call this the, you know, like normal thing.
In Python, the constructor has the name of the class, no?
Sorry?
The function with the name of the class is the constructor?
No, it's called like init,
Okay.
I think. Matt is asking, can you specify index type hash b3 in Django? Wow, you bastard. I don't know, you know? Not sure, but Django indexes 1 point. They've changed the index thing in this version. So index options like index fields, index name, but default indexes are created with an ascending order for each column to define index with ascending disorder. I'm not really sure. You can do that.
You can always say it's a wizard. It's made by the wizard.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wizard. Yeah. We include the index options. Yeah, I mean, they usually no. Have you seen tree?
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit! Well, no, you cannot. But you know, it creates a B tree. We know that. You can even see the source of it. That's a good thing. I really like this documentation. It's really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to add this application now to the project because I have created like this application, but I've not done anything. So Now I need to go to the main application, Django tutorial settings, and in install applications, which is an array, guess what? What was the name again? Like simple inventory. Hey, Matt's asking again, man. Come on, Matt, dude. You manually change the structure in MySQL. Does Django care? Yes, it does care. In fact, there is one good thing, one approach for SQL guys. You can create your models. Like right now, I'll do this tomorrow, but we can connect this to the Scalefast database and create the models the inverse way. We can tell Django, hey, create me the models in Python based on your database structure. And it will do the thing for you. That need fine tuning. For example, here in Scalefast, we are that people that doesn't define relationships. So for example, in command transaction dot command ID or order ID, I don't remember, that would be no relation to the other model. So you would need to specify that by hand, but no magic there. So yes, it does care. So you could define your own SQL structure, your own index thing, but it could be the case that it doesn't work. For example, if you create an index type that Django cannot work with, it could explode. So that can happen. Good, interesting thing. We can try that later. So once we've done that, let's go and I'll teach you very quickly the manage thing. Manage is like the artisan, okay? Here is more low level than Django admin. The manage is only for this application. Allows you to delete everything, go to the database immediately.
Application or project?
Oops, shit, project, sorry. Run server, this is useful for running a development server. We'll be playing with this today. And well, a lot of different things. Create a password, change password, well. So now I'll be doing make migrations because I have created a model, but I want to put that into my database, which by default is SQLite. I don't think I have to install anything. Anyway, let's try it. All right. So it has created my asset model here. It has created like the indexes I specified. And I think that behind the scenes, it has also created like all the migrations of the user, because right now we don't have any database structure at all. We need to create a user. Django does that for you. So once you've done the migrations, you type migrate. And there we go. Okay, we have like internal Django thing, like admin, we'll be seeing this today, authentication, sessions, and our model. All right, so this is very straightforward. Apply all migrations, admin, auth. These are applications, just like simple inventory. Pluggable applications. You can like, hey, I don't want admin, I don't want auth. You can remove them if you like. So I'll do the thing maybe in the other way around. So I'll now define, let me see my sheet here. Okay, let's go quicker. I'll create now a new model, okay, because you know assets are good, but maybe here in Scalefast, Fred wants to have a control of what order did purchase these assets. So at the first, you might think to, hey, I'm going to just create a new class in my application, but since we want to do a new thing called orders, and an order could be a whole universe, we all know that here. I suggest we create a new application called simple orders, and that's what we're going to do. So, just as like I did, Python manage py start app simple orders. Let me check that 1 second. By default, its application names are in plural. Okay, that's Django convention, but you know. So I'll do very quick simple orders because you are now experts on models, so you don't need to understand because you in Pepita we teach like that. So I created event. I think it called, yeah, it's in singular. I know. That's my bad. So okay, let's copy and paste this like a boss. All right, so more of the same, no crazy thing. Reference, char field, these are two new things. Date time field, okay? No dates and then a time, no. Date time field. This option here, what we'll do is create, when you create the order, it will put this field as now, okay? You can remove this if you like. Receive that, it's null and blank. Blank means in a form, a web form, HTML form, you may not specify this, okay? This and this are different things. This is for database level, this is for form level. Char field, decimal field for the amount. Provider like PC Componentes, which is the same as that, sorry, I was drunk when doing this. Ordered by, foreign key. This is not ordered like the order, but who ordered this? So it's a foreign key to a user model. So for example, an order cannot have a many-to-many relationship. Only one person can have an order. That's why the foreign key. And here you can define things like on delete. We have models cascade, models protect, models set null, different options, but here I want to play safe. If I delete the user model, I will say, hey, no, you cannot delete because you have orders. So, you know, do that thing first. And inverse relation. So I can type Fred.order and I will get all the orders that was ordered by Fred. And paid Boolean field. No crazy thing. And again, the indexes. Okay. So same thing. I will add that into simple Django tutorial. Oh. Django tutorial. Oh, no, sorry. First thing first. Well, no, let's do this. Yeah. Django tutorial settings. All right. So let's go here and type simple orders. All right. Again, Python manage make migrations. I'll migrate. All right. So once we have this, we have two completely separated applications. They don't know about each other, but we as the project owners of this, like, hey, I want to relate the things. So what I've done is that in my simple inventory model, I want to have a foreign key to an order. Okay. So what I'll do here is tell from simple orders.model import. I can do this, for example, or I can specify one like order. This is in singular. Models should be in singular according to the Django best practice. So here I can define many-to-many relation. Sorry, a foreign key with my application. I'm checking the code right now. I just don't want to think too much. So we have the .py thing, and there we go. Okay, I have allowed this to be null because, well, for example, we now have assets here in the office that we don't know which orders they belong to. So in this case, we might allow assets not to have an order. So that's a perfectly good scenario. So every time I add a model, I have to do the migrations. It's that simple. I think it's like that. Hopefully it won't crash. Yeah, it crashed. Stack trace of Django, pretty good. It tells you where it's failing, so probably I'm just very sleepy. And I think, yeah, I know the fail. I think it's models, or which model? Yeah, it's models. There we go. And there we go. So nothing crazy around here. You've now seen how to create a model, how to create a relationship between them, how to make migrations. I'm going to give you last 15 minutes the administrate. Well, no, let's do quickly the views. Okay, the administration can go later. Let's create some views example. So I'll go here and here and here. And let me go to files. So I will start by defining in my main project thing, Django tutorial, the URLs. These are the routes, okay? So admin will cover this in 10 minutes. Now I'm going to do URLs of my applications because right now I cannot access my applications. So in Django tutorial URLs, I will do this. Okay, which all the HTTP requests that begin with assets and a trailing slash will go to the routes of my simple inventory application. I should include, okay, that's a function of this module here. It's just to include things. Okay, so as you maybe detected, if we go back and go to my simple inventory thing, there is no URLs at all. It doesn't provide that, and to be honest, I don't really know why, but it doesn't provide, so we need to create them by ourselves. So I'm going to paste it because I can go over it very quickly. Simple inventory URLs. Right? So from here I import the views, which again, views are the controllers, and here is just a relationship between HTTP request and controller, and then a name. This is very similar to Laravel. Name is useful for later do like inverse URL resolution. Okay, so I'm defining the index, which is nothing, and I'm just going to go to the index function, and I'm defining this little regular expression. R here defines regular expression, and it just starts with, this is a regular expression capturer, like the parenthesis thing, and this just is like, this is identifier, which type is a numerical thing at least one time, and trailing slash, and that will go into the detail. Okay, so I will create in parallel the views so you can see that. Django does provide views by default. We don't need to create views. So delete everything, set paste, and there we go. So two functions. Def is the thing for Python, and here are the arguments. Request is mandatory for views, and as you can see, every time you specify something like this, it needs to go like that. Okay, I think this is also very similar to Laravel. Anyway, so I'm just closing the URLs to give us more space. Oh, I'm going to save. So I'm importing from the models thing my asset model. Okay, and let's start with the index thing. This is like the way of doing queries in Django. It has its own ORM. I don't really know its name, but it's the best I've worked with by far. It's really, really great. So the syntax is model name dot objects, and then from this you can concatenate as many things as you like. It's similar to Eloquent, I guess. Order by, filter, different things. Right now I'm not filtering. I'm just getting all of them and ordering them by identifier, and only getting 5. Okay. Here I'm defining which template I want to render this thing with, which is this template here. Okay, that doesn't exist yet, but we'll see that. And context. Context is like the context, which is passed to the template. In this case, I'm giving a context of this variable with this thing, with context, which is this. Okay, this is an array, a Python array. So that will go to the template, and template will work with that. And I return an HTTP response, and I just invoke the render function of the templates to render with the context and the request. So template, this template here, it's not like anything from here. Template is this one. Okay, so here I create like the object, and then I say, hey, you template with this HTML, render this request with this context. All right, and details, as you know, it receives an asset ID, and we try to do a get of the asset. So model name dot objects, similar structure, and then the function to get one is get. Pretty obvious. PK, primary key, equals that asset ID. Okay. If it doesn't exist, you return a 404. Like asset doesn't exist. There is a function called getObject or 404 that actually does that for you. You don't need to do try except. Django has a lot of these little things that helps you make this kind of stuff. And I'm doing a little differently here. As you see here, I did like a template thing, and then I did this. There's a shortcut called render, which I only specify request, template, context, and that's it. If you haven't imagined, this is like a JSON, and in Python this structure is called dictionaries. It's just key value thing, okay, just like JSON. Okay, so what it's only left for us is to define the templates, and of course they don't come with Django by default, so every application should define their own templates. You can have, of course, global templates to, you know, make some global structure, because as you know, you can have like websites that can reuse the header, the footer, so that kind of things can go to like a main template folder in the root of the project. But every application should define their own. So I'm going to create that. Yeah, it's called templates with S. And then we need to create a new folder called simple inventory again. Yes, there is a lot of things behind this. It's a good practice to do. You could not do this, but I suggest you do. I'll give you explanation tomorrow when I remember. So right now we have application name / templates / application name. Okay, it's for name spacing, that's for sure, but I cannot remember. And it's empty right now. So I will create two simple HTMLs. Okay, I'll create index. Ah, shit. Okay, so I'm going to open this, in fact, with the thing we saw previously. We're defining index here. So this variable is this one here, which is this one, which is this one, which can be empty because we may not have any asset at all. So we only do this code if it exists. And then, no magic, we define a list. We iterate over this list with this for utility. This is what was the name of the blade engine?
Reach.
No, I think it's called Jinja.
Yeah, in Python is Jinja.
Yeah.
Jinja or something like that.
Blade.
Django.
No,
Blade is Laravel.
Motor en Laravel es Blade.
No, in Python I think it's Jinja too.
Jinja, yeah.
Yeah, so it has this kind of documentation, very simple. So for asset in the latest asset list, you will display a list with this hard-coded. Okay, yes, bad thing. I'll teach you tomorrow how to do inverse URL stuff. We end the for, and that's it. And here we specify like a variable. Okay, and if it's not present, no assets are available. So we have that, and I'll also going to define details. No, detail.html. All right. Wow, holy shit. Woohoo. This is very awful, okay? This will just, in fact, display object whatever, but, you know, gets you the idea. Sorry, I didn't have more time. So that's the thing. Let's make this run. I want to give you an example because we have 5 minutes left. So right now we haven't seen this working. So I think this will work. We have the views, we have the URLs, we have defined that. Okay, so now you may be wondering, hey, this is not PHP. How can like nginx run this Python stuff? Well, good question. By default, we're going to run the server by ourselves. Okay, this will bypass nginx. This will create a new web server. Okay, so Python manage Python manage.py run server. Okay, so hopefully this will work, and it is working. So this is a very simple command to run the server in all the IP addresses in this specific port, and will checks these things, blah blah blah, and okay, it's working. So let's see it work. sorry, this is my nginx. I'm attacking my nginx, so I should specify the port. Okay. Index is not defined because if you recall, on the main URL place, we have only defined this and that. There's nothing for empty. So what at least I can do is type assets. Oops. Holy shit! Something wrong with this. Yeah. Oh wow. This thing here. Sorry, Laravel, you got fucking owned.
Oh, yeah.
You get freaking owned with this session thing. I mean, wow. I just love this thing. You can see all the stack trace, debug every application there. So we can probably see, yeah, our own inventory view. So it failed here. Local vars, query set empty. I mean, come on, it's just great. So yeah, I did something wrong. So let's go to simple inventory. Templates is like, it's called simple underscore inventory. So let's go to templates. Ah shit. Move simple inventory to simple inventory. Thanks, Chris. Python manage. There we go. There we go. Woo! In the last 2 minutes, I will create one model for you so you can see. So Python manage shell gives us, oops, sorry, a shell, Python shell. Okay, I think PHP introduces this recently, but Python has this from the beginning of the time. So I can do from simple inventory import assets. Okay, so I have the asset class. So I can do like chair equals assets, and then let me just take a look to the class here. We can specify the fields one by one. Okay, that's a good thing. So models here, we need to only specify the ones which are not null. Okay, so I'll go with that. I will go identifier, for example, 1, 2, 3. I will create in use, which is default false. I'm not specified that. Asset buffer default 0. No need to specify. Use by, it's a many-to-many field. It's null. I don't need to define. Components, more of the same. And states has a default. So look at that. I can do just like that. Okay, so I have the chair, but this is not on the database. So now it's on the database. Woohoo! Oh, okay, sorry. You can probably want to run this in a background job, okay? I'm just too lazy for that. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. We'll go to 1. We get that stupid thing around there. And there's just that. And I only have 1 minute left. Oh, I have 0. Shit. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to do the best thing ever. Python, manage py, create super user. Oh, shit, you're all going to love this. So yeah, bash and axel.amigo, scalefast.com. My secret password for you not to see. Okay, I've created a super admin. Okay, and I will go into my simple inventory thing, and you saw that, right? Okay, let's edit this thing real quick. Admin, Django provides an admin, let's say like our back office, okay? A place to manage and play with all your things. So I can register my models. Oh, almost forgot. Here. So, oh, I'm forgetting also that. Import my models from the admin, and then I create this class, which is a model admin, which creates, you will see now, and this is in Python called shit, I forgot. I mean, yeah, this adds at the beginning of the class or function.
It's a hook.
No, it's a mixing. I think it's the name. I'll give you later. So we're registering this class to register our model assets. So let's just end this. Let's run the server again. Oops, sorry. All right. Let's go back to our. Instead of assets, I'll go to admin. And there we go, sexy boys. We have assets. We can go here and edit whatever we like. Turn down for what? All right. So that's for today. Tomorrow we'll see more of these for creating users, creating groups, creating more models, and that's it.
Question.
Let's drink beer!
Do you need to do an application for every model, or you can do different models in one application?
You can define more than one model in your application.
So in simple Elementary you can do assets and warehouse to see where, and that will be all in the models.py?
Exactly. In fact, I've made this simple because I didn't want to, but usually that will be your thing, creating a lot of different classes inside models.py.
That's my problem. It's not totally good defined what the fuck is application.
It's,
For
it's
example,
like
in models, then you can have like 200 objects on the tables.
Having a model, you can create the table or the schema in the database.
bitch, please.
So
He has already done.
So in that case, where do you specify the engine?
The engine. The engine is actually
the settings.
in the settings. I think you can define that, but it will get. I mean, you create a database yourself. You need to create a database, and when you create a database by going phpMyAdmin / whatever, they're really fine. It has nothing to do with Django. And by default, Django ManagePy has this awesome thing which is called where are you? Test, squash migrations, SQL migrate, SQL flush, show migrations, send test migrates. InspectDB, I think it's called. Yeah. No. Yeah, InspectDB returns like the Python models of our things, okay? So if you point this to Scalefast database, it will give you that. And I wanted to create like the there is one to see actually the SQL. Let me search that really quick. SQL Django manage.py. Prince.
Esto es un proyecto de Axel para estar a la gente al lado oscuro.
TV Shell.
A mí me ha convencido.
TV Shell.
Hostia, yo llevo años queriendo hacer un proyecto de hacer la misma administración que tiene el Django.
SQL
para
Flash.
Laravel, en plan paquete. O sea, un paquete, no yo paquete.
En Symfony sí que hay movidas así.
No.
En Symfony había movidas para hacer el cruce y todo.
Claro, pues justo eso, ahora que Laravel es todo más fácil.
No, it's not providing us the SQL Flash.
Nunca he conseguido que no funcione.
What the fuck is that?
¿Qué está buscando?
A command that gives you like the SQL output of the things you did.
There's any Javier command, like circle?
There is a Javier command, yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that, but yeah, there's a one thing that you point it to your database and give you the SQL thing. So, no, sorry, gives your model. Okay, given your models, it tells you what SQL structure it will create. That's it. Sorry.
Okay. So your model you can specify the engine.
No. Engine? No, engine is when you create the database. Like.
But I was asking you have a model, you can create the structure in the database.
Oh yeah, yeah, but an already created database.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have the engine already.
And you have a completely empty database.
Yeah.
You have tons of models, and you can convert these to SQL structures.
Yeah.
So should be a place where you specify the engine.
Isn't that what you do with the migrate command?
Yeah, migrate actually does that. Migrate generates SQL, goes to your database, and SQL that.
So you do a migration, and with the migrate command, you do that you are asking.
Yeah.
So should be a part in the documentation where we can read this, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
And tomorrow I'll give you more advanced examples on views, caches, and not sure about that. I think, yeah.
One last question from the you installed Python globally in the machine? Or
No.
You did no.
Virtual environments.
But the first thing you did wasn't like do it globally, so you can create. I didn't get that. I think.
PyEmp is the binary we use for installing Python, and that's in my home. Okay.
That's an installer.
Yeah. So if I go to .pymp versions, here I have my different Python Python versions: 3.60, 3.62. So it's not global. And then all my libraries are in the the virtual environment I created at the beginning. I created a test one. So here, if I go to lib and side packages, lib Python side packages. Here I have my libraries locally in this folder. It's not affecting the system. I have Pyths, setup tools, pip, Django. So these are my third-party libraries in my virtual environments.
The tutorial project is created inside the test environment, virtual environment.
Exactly.
And then, if, for example, if you now go out of the test environment, you can't run it.
Exactly. I deactivate. I don't have the test anymore. So if now I go to projects test, what was the name again? No.
Into home.
Live thing. And Django tutorial. And I go to if I'm not which Python, my Python is probably that's funny. Yes, I don't have Django, so it's telling me, hey man, you don't have Django. What the fuck are you doing here? So is that?
Axel, is it possible to create like a test entry for the model as you did from the shell, but from XML or something like that?
Yeah, like a seed in Laravel.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, you can specify JSON with all the things inside.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, or a YAML as well.
Okay.
So you should create a fixer directory inside your application, and then do
Symfony, in fact.
load data, and there you go. I don't really like this much because migrations and this, if you're maintaining a fixture, you need to take care of the migrations. When you change the schema, you need to change the fixture as well.
Yes.
But well, it's if you do that, it's very, very useful, that's for sure. All right, guys, thank you for your time. See you tomorrow.
Vamos a brindar por ti.
Goodbye, Mathieu.